like Shion's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dana's Great Spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dana's Great Spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dana's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dana exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dana's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's Great Spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Renasalma.
Things are different here than on the surface.
That shows how deeply we've ventured into Rena.
And how close we've come to the real enemy.
So here's a question. We came all this way to Rena on the assumption the Renasalma's here, right?
Don't say it, Law.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
I said don't.
I can understand why you might be concerned, Law. But you need to remember that there are people it affects more directly than you.
Oh, sorry.
We've managed to make it this far believing. Losing faith now won't do us any good. We're better off focusing our anxiety elsewhere.
Such as?
The Great Spirit. If Hevrecht 35's to be believed, our enemy won't just be handing over the Renasalma to us. At least, not without a fight.
Not only that, but that same enemy just gulped down more than an entire world's worth of astral energy.
Point taken. It may be strange to say, but when I'm fighting, or at least know what needs to be done, it helps me a lot. I don't doubt myself as much. So thanks, both of you. The floor's on the ceiling and the ceiling's on the floor. This whole thing's making my head spin. Why would they even do something like this?
The Helganquil can bend life forms to suit their will. Nothing they could do at this point would surprise me.
The ceiling is on the floor. That doesn't weird you out?
What good is a team made up of members who all share the same opinions on everything? And besides, when you get to be at my ripe old age, one begins to consider it quite uncouth to show one's true emotions at times.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. You can't be that old.
The sands of time wait for none of us, lad.
Yeah, we'll see. Though at this rate, I guess I'll have to live long enough to get as old as you first, huh?
You will. And when the time comes, I look forward to hearing you change your tune on the matter.
Maybe it's time I try on something new.
fire!
I got it! Let a marksman handle it!
Try harder! All yours! Here I come!
You made quick work of them.
Want me to pick up your slack then?
Just pointing it
You
out.
picked the wrong fight!
As always.
Here I was always improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever. I've never seen Keon actually look flustered.
Hurricane thrust!
I'm
on Hurricane thrust!
Illuminate the sun!
Hold nothing back!
In between heaven and earth.
Destruction!
A wailing digital.
Astro coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing art.
Portal blade!
Dance in the wind. Hear my voice.
We got the advantage.
Good. Just have to make sure we keep it.
Don't worry,
You
'cause
picked
we're
the
on
wrong
on.
fight! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Wailing
Save you.
You require help. Thanks, Keon.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
The enemy is going all out.
Can't get out of this.
Sword Rain Alpha!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara.
Strike! Crumble! Pierce through!
Healing circle.
Now I can let loose!
Radiant
Atomic devastation! Burn in hell!
What's this?
Double Demon Fang! Destruction!
You are too human.
To stop you dying?
I'm on a roll now.
Take this! Demon Fang!
Let's get you out of the way. By the power of flame.
That'll bring you down.
Do it! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
I can do this all day.
Dragon Form!
Now we're not.
Magic is there.
Let's beat this has got your name on them.
Lunar corruption.
Portal Blade! Ignite!
Gemini Aqua.
Talon
Lightning Archer!
Glimmer Dragon condemned.
I'll crush you. Lightning reflexes. Tenebrous claw. Eat this. Talon Hurricane.
Demon Fang!
Where are you going? Light up.
Do it.
Small! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Raging Cascade. Not on my watch.
Rising Order! Soaring Light Spear! Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal.
Do it.
Enemies incoming.
You airborne scoundrels. Then we'll
Sounds like
take
a
them
job
down.
for yours truly.
I'm on it! Ignite!
Chain between heaven and earth.
Okay, here I go. Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Ranger.
Here I come!
Healing
Can't
circle.
get out of this.
One more time.
Thanks, Keon.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
Thousand and the others truly are strong.
What about me?
I
enemy wields arc too.
We'll soon see about that. Now, astral energy.
Say no more.
Reinforcements? Lightning
Rising
strike.
water.
Ice tornado all day.
Swallow dance. Lunar Rover.
None so
Lightning
easy.
Mirage. Mirage.
Field.
Ignite.
Divine savior.
Dragon
Not
down.
in your dreams.
Vacuum
Now.
blade. Look sharp. Lightning Tiger Blade.
A chain between heaven and earth. Mega ray.
Nothing
A
can
rolling
stop me.
sea of lightning ray. This one's mine.
Eat this.
Now.
All yours, Kisara.
More Sukos?
Keep calm and take them down. Heaven and earth.
Eat this. Far enough.
A wailing banshee of lightning.
Eradicate. Thanks, Flash.
Divine
Blow away.
dance in the wind. Air
The
thrust.
flame inside me yearns to be
Look
lit.
out.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life!
More
Roger.
incoming.
Hurricane burn in hell.
Firmament render. Tornado.
Here.
You're really strong, Alvin.
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still, reassuring to have you around.
We've all got enough.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll never miss. Let the marks in him. Get toasty.
Burn strike!
Right, next one.
Already
Where are you going? Field.
Armor won't save
Let's
you!
get you all tucked away.
Eat that!
Here we
Ignite.
go. Here goes.
More.
Go do it.
Demon
Blah, blah,
Fang.
blah.
Right.
Holy confiscated.
Leave the charges to me.
Demon Fang.
Vanquish
Go to
darkness.
Demon Fang.
Denied! Come and get it!
Dear,
blow away.
Do it! Neon, astral energy, full throttle! Go! Radiant, here!
Ignite.
Talon hurricane!
I'm even stronger than before.
Wow, you've got to be lucky to find this stuff.
Indeed. I can tell it's quite the find.
The Zoogles here are putting up a real fight.
That just goes to show how important this place is.
Or perhaps they simply thrived freely here under such harsh conditions.
I don't give a damn why they're here. We'll burn it all to the ground.
The astral energy here is so dense. It's like trying to walk through water.
I know the Great Spirit's will is in the center of Rena, but with the world in this state, the entire planet has become its body, right? So doesn't that mean we're already inside it?
I would say that is horrifyingly correct. After all, the further we climb, the denser the astral energy becomes.
What's the matter, Rinwell? Are you not feeling all right?
No, it's nothing like that. It just feels like the energy here is a little more intense than it was before.
You mean Rena's energy?
Yeah, it's like when I made contact with Dana's will in the wedge. It's almost as though I can understand what Rena's will is thinking.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger. Aren't we risking the Great Spirit controlling us if we interact with it directly?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Rena's will is only supposed to control true Renans, like the Helganquil. If we can discern what the Great Spirit is thinking too, we might learn something, a weakness. But just to be safe, let me contact it alone.
Are you insane? Rinwell, you're gonna...
Rinwell!
There was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right? Rinwell? Rinwell, are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think.
What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants, how it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Great Spirit wants to finish the process.
What do you mean, one world? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
Like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although, admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but only darkness and light can be found within Rena and Dana, respectively. The Renis Alma, as far as we know, the only host capable of harvesting the astral energy, is composed of all six. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shion's thorns, doesn't it?
The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then... well, it's more than a little ironic.
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing an actual plan.
Xion.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, no lords, no crown contest, maybe just peace.
To think, all this started because of the Great Spirit's desire to keep living. The only reason it craves energy is because it's dying from starvation. When you think about it like that, maybe the things it's done aren't so strange after all.
If Rena had been more like Dana, things would have worked out a whole lot better.
It's like Hevrecht 35 told us. The Danan and Renan spirits are meant to be completely different beings.
Rena's energy amassing in one place led to its developing a powerful will. But that also made it crave energy, sapping Rena dry until it perished.
Whereas Dana's energy is dispersed, meaning its will never developed to the same extent. And without that hunger, Dana the planet was spared.
As for which is correct, well, I'm not sure it's our place to even say. Still, I can't help but think it reminds me a lot of the dichotomy of the human condition.
Dichotomy? What do you mean?
Those who know not satisfaction are driven to keep devouring without limit. But those who are content with their lot in life rarely fulfill their potential. I imagine it's likely that the larger Rena's Great Spirit grew, the more and more powerful its hunger also became.
Everything in moderation. When all's said and done, maybe that's the hardest thing for people to learn.